The moon belongs to the lonely. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm entering for it, and we are here for another poetry discussion video, which will appear, of course, in the poetry discussion playlist here on the channel, but it will also appear in the Emily Dickinson playlist, as we will principally be discussing an Emily Dickinson poem here. But I do have a couple of other examples to share. The poem in question is "The Moon Was But a Chin of Gold." I almost said a chin of God. "The moon was but a chin of gold." And it reads as such: "The moon was but a chin of gold a night or two ago, and now she turns her perfect face upon the world below. Her forehead is of amplest blonde, her cheek a beryl hewn, her eye unto the summer dew the likest I have known. Her lips of amber never part, but what must be the smile upon her friend she could confer, were such her silver will? And what a privilege to be but the remotest star, for certainty she take her way beside your palace door. Her bonnet is the firmament, the universe her shoe, the stars the trinkets at her belt, her dimities of blue." There's something that should stand out about this poem. Our speaker exists. Our speaker is not some third person omniscient narrator. Our speaker exists because this would make it seem like our speaker is in the world below, because she's looking at that face, that perfect face, as it is turned. And this right here, the speaker is in the poem here. So we've got the speaker and the moon. Okay, great. Her lips of amber never part, but what must be the smile upon her friend she could confer, were such her silver will. That's a bit of a strange stanza, so we're just going to highlight it there. I have another example of a poem "To the Moon" by Percy Shelley. "Art thou pale for weariness of climbing heaven and gazing on earth, wandering companionless among the stars that have a different birth, and ever changing like a joyless eye that finds no object worth its constancy? Thou chosen sister of the spirit, that gazes on thee till in thee it pities." We're going to collect that word there. And this word here. I've got another example from Charles Bukowski. "And the moon and the stars and the world. Long walks at night, that's what's good for the soul. Peeking into windows, watching tired housewives trying to fight off their beer-maddened husbands. So there are only clues here for our speaker, but it would seem that our speaker is alone, correct? Now there's also this element here. Watching. Maybe I should do this in a different color here. It's a bad one. Watching, gazing on, her eye unto the turns her perfect face upon the world below. So the moon here in these three poems, but we're going to basically concentrate on the Emily Dickinson poem. The moon is feminine. The moon is alone, and the moon gazes upon the earth, does not look away, does not look out towards the stars, looks like our peeping Tom here, peeking in windows. Why? Why does the moon belong to loners? Why does the moon belong to those who are by themselves? Why would poets have such an interest in the moon? Look, it would be, how much prettier are the stars than the moon, right? You can't see any dimples in the stars. They flicker like fire or like diamonds in the light. They are smaller and more mysterious than the moon. Wouldn't these things be so much more enticing to write about for a poet? Especially a poet with the skills of description that Emily Dickinson possessed. But I think there is something more alluring there. Loners, the lonely, I think I think the feeling of loneliness is more prevalent at night. The feeling of loneliness is more prevalent when you know that others are laying down with someone they love. Maybe there's hubba hubba to be had, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a quiet evening together with someone. Either way, the loner does not have that option. The loner is by his or herself. At night, that feeling of loneliness becomes more pronounced. Maybe you can't sleep. Maybe you're the thinking type. Maybe you write poetry. You can't get your mind to shut up. What do you do? What does you no good to lay in bed? Probably you've made your way through too many pints of ice cream at that time and you have to start talking yourself out of it. Too many Oreos have been consumed at 3 in the morning. Whatever your bad habit is, not just eating, maybe it's drinking. Whatever that bad habit is that you try to lure yourself to sleep with. I'll just take one shot, right? It'll take the edge off. I'm laying here awake. It must be that I'm hungry. Whatever it is that you do, you've talked yourself out of it this time. It's 3 in the morning. You can't sleep. So you go outside. What do you automatically do? You automatically look at the sky. You can't help it. You're human. You automatically find the moon. And something becomes obvious to you. The stars, well, they all have each other. But the moon is alone like you. And in those moments where we are lonely, where we are searching, probably we've beaten ourselves up a little bit. We've talked ourselves down a little bit. Well, the moon, it looks pretty beat up too, doesn't it? I think, and this, look, you can call me stupid, but I had a professor in college who thought that iambic pentameter sounded the way it did because everybody was riding horses at the time, okay? So I'm willing to be called stupid for this. I think that the moon is such a prevalent sort of idea for poets because it's alone just like them. Their mind works in that way that they will draw connections between things. And so they reach up and they grab the moon. They grab that moon and they bring it down to themselves. Then whatever that moon is to them, they can write that poem because that poem is them. And so we have this poem from Emily Dickinson. The moon was but a chin of gold a night or two ago, and now she turns her perfect face upon the world below. Her forehead is of amplest blonde, her cheek a beryl hewn, her eye unto the summer dew the likest I have known. Her lips of amber never part, but what must be the smile upon her friend she could confer, were such her silver will? And what a privilege to be but the remotest star! For certainty she take her way beside your palace door. Her bonnet is the firmament, the universe her shoe, the stars, the trinkets at her belt, her dimities of blue. Who's this? Her lips of amber never part, but what must be the smile upon her friend she could confer, were such her silver will? Who is the moon's friend? I think it's your speaker. I think it's your poet. I think it is Emily Dickinson. That's all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. There's poetry every Monday, and I hope to have you back for the next one.